Well, hello there, Old Testament class. And today we started a new section in our journey through the Old Testament. And today we focused on getting to know some of the facts of our Old Testament, as well as the lands in the Bible. So we reviewed again. This is a statement that we learned from our big picture of the Bible, that the Bible is one book that contains 66 books. Now, as we focus on the details of the Old Testament, we want to remind ourselves that it has 39 books. And we're going to catalog or categorize these into three different sections. And we're going to use the numbers 17, 5, and 17 to remember that. So we've got 17 historical books, and that begins with Genesis and ends in Esther. And then we've got 5 wisdom and poetry books. Those begin with Job and go all the way through the Song of Solomon. And then we have 17 prophetical books. And so those are all the major and minor prophets. And so that starts in Isaiah and runs all the way to Malachi, the last book in the Old Testament. And so our goal in this unit is that we're ultimately going to memorize all 39 books in the Old Testament in order and spelled correctly. And again, this is a statement from our big picture of the Bible unit that we just completed, but now we're adding a new phrase. And so this one book, the whole Bible, tells one overall story. And what is that story? It is God's plan to save the world through the snake crusher. And that is a phrase that we learned from our book that we're reading from time to time in class by Kevin DeYoung called The Biggest Story. And that's sold by Crossway Books. And so our goal this week is that we're going to memorize the first 8 books of the Old Testament in order and spelled correctly. And so here they are: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, and Ruth. All right, so there they are. And then we took some time to get to know the land of the Bible. And I put a blank copy of this map on Plus Portals under the Files section. And so this week we're going to focus on the cities, but let's go ahead and just review the major bodies of water. And so on the left-hand side, the Mediterranean Sea, this huge area here, and then south of that is the Red Sea, and then due east is the Persian Gulf, and then at the very top right-hand corner of our map, the Caspian Sea. And then we took some time to look at some bodies of water as well as some rivers. And so we have the Dead Sea, and then we have the Jordan River, and then we have the Sea of Galilee, and then we also have the Nile River, and then we have way to the east the Tigris, and then also the Euphrates. And now we come to our cities. And so starting on the western handmost side, that little dot is and that's where we're going to start our discussions of Abraham. And then we have Haran at the very northern point of all these cities. And this is the city in which Terah, who is Abraham's father, he dies in Haran. And then Dan is the northernmost city in the as we think about the Old Testament. And then, of course, comes a funny sounding name, Shechem. And there's some key events that happen here. And then we have the city of Jerusalem, and that plays a prominent role both in the Old and New Testament. And then finally, the city of Beersheba. That is the southernmost point of all the tribes of Israel. And so that's a bit of our review on our maps. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about the story of the Bible. So until then, we'll see you.